My guests today are Robyn Campbell and Anna Gusson. Now, Robyn Campbell is an award-winning Canadian screenwriter with a passion for animated content, currently writing for Lego Friends, produced by the Lego Group. Now, Robyn creates characters and stories that are inclusive, diverse, and encourage audiences to be themselves even when it's difficult. Now, Anna Gusson is an award-winning director and an accomplished 2D animator based in Vancouver. Now, she has worked as an animator in productions like My Little Pony, the movie, Netflix's Archibald's Next Big Thing, and Dreamworks' TROLLSTOPIA. But most recently, Anna directed Pivot, an award-winning short film that is on its festival run with great success. We are here today to talk about their wonderful animated short film, Pivot. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Robyn Campbell and Anna Gusson to the show. Welcome. How are you
Hi.
doing today?
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Well, absolutely. The first question, I'm going to direct this one to Robyn. Where did you get the idea for this film?
Yeah, it it started with a childhood memory. I had a friend who, ever since we were in preschool, she hated wearing dresses so much, but her mom would force her to wear these extremely gaudy, over-the-top dresses that matched her sister for every picture day, Christmas concert, things like that. And she absolutely hated it. And she would be miserable the whole day and just like a little feral cat in a frilly dress basically the whole day. She grew up to be very much not a dress wearer and went very much the opposite direction. And that memory has always really stuck with me as being such a visual representation of a parent, someone who cares about you, objectifying you and forcing a child to be a way that aligns with the parent and the parent's wants rather than who the child is. So, in writing Pivot, which I wrote for specifically to produce with women in animation, I wanted to do something that I saw impacting women everywhere in the world. And I instead used my own emotional story surrounding more of a fear of telling those who love me about myself, and not feeling like I fit in, and inserted that in the story of the dress. So it's kind of a combination of my emotional story and my childhood friends'
Well,
physical
I,
story.
I love the story, and I actually watched it more than once to really grasp it, to see the difference. Because when we watch film, we have that first pass when we watch something, then we go back the second time to kind of dive a little deeper to maybe see things we didn't notice the first time. Uh, I thought it was a very, I think it's the first thing I thought of was is that the character was a tomboy, and for you, Robyn, I mean, as being part of the LGBTQ community, did that influence this story a bit?
For sure. The emotional story is very much my fear of telling the people that I grew up with that I was bisexual. And I grew up in a time in the 90s, early 2000s, when being bisexual was not considered a thing in a lot of places. That people said you could be gay or you could be straight, but bisexuals were just confused. So I thought I was confused, which was horrible growing up. And as I'm sure you watched in the film, Ashley is very conflicted about telling everyone how she feels, about telling her mom how she feels. And it's more of a struggle of getting over the fear of telling everyone around her who she really is. That is very much the emotional core of the story, is my own struggle with my identity.
Yeah, we're going to get into that here in a moment, and because that is one thing that I did notice, and I know those who have seen the film and those who will see the film will pick up that as well. Now, Anna, what drew you to the story?
Yeah, so the story was presented to me very early in a selection process because the film was made as part of a program called ACE. It's a program made to help women in a mid-career level in animation to
to rise above the ceiling. There's a ceiling, right, that we tend to notice in the animation career, that women are majority in schools, women are majority in the early levels of industry, but for some reason we're not rising to the top creative positions. So Women in Animation Vancouver created this program called ACE to help us develop a key creative credit and help us elevate our careers, right? So I applied to this program, and Robyn did apply as well with this script. And when reading it, I related to it very closely, and so did many other women who came to work with us. And it really struck us in this core place of growing up as a woman and finding ourselves, and how to communicate that to our parents and our loved ones, right? So it was very interesting that not only I felt very closely related to it, but also everyone that came on board later on the process. So yeah, the I'm sorry,
That,
I'm getting a bit
no,
lost
that's
in the
okay. And
question.
it's you brought something up that in a way irritates me in a good way. Um, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, filmmaking is just an incredible art. It's storytelling, it's bringing stories to life, regardless if it's live action, if it's animation. Um, but for those of you who work in the film industry, stop putting women second place, because they are as equal to every man that can handle a camera, be a cinematographer, a director, a producer, a screenwriter, an animator. And when it comes to filmmaking, everybody is on equal ground. And if you want to try to prove me wrong, good luck with that. But Robyn and Anna, so I'm going to step off my soapbox here for a second. But
Mhm.
why did y'all choose to create Pivot as an animation instead of live action?
So I wrote it very specifically for animation, and there's actually an interesting thing where I almost it kind of goes the opposite direction for me. Where writing for live action is actually very innate, and it's because it's real life. But when you're writing for animation, there has to be a reason for it to be animated, or no one will make it, because animation costs so much money to make. Like, when you see an animated budget, like, people are blown away of how much it truly costs and how much energy and effort, how many animators you need and everything. So there needs to be a very specific reason why this must be animated, or else everyone's just gonna be like, just make it live action. Like, don't bother with any of this. This is a lot. So the transformation within it of a dress to a spoiler into a monster is innately animation, and also how Ashley turns into like a warrior. I don't think we could do that live action. So it really was written very specifically for animation, and in a way that it just wouldn't be possible to make it live action.
I loved the animation and I loved the style of animation. And Anna, for you, how does one create a very specific look of animation for a particular story? How did this look come about? Because I loved it. It's almost very children's storybook like.
Exactly. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it's exactly what we were looking for. So when reading the script, it was very clear that we needed to have um, this warm look that would welcome us into the story and have us all like be drawn into Ashley as a character, right? We have to feel her feelings and be empathetic to her. So when looking for the looks for the film, I very early on knew I wanted something a bit more quirky, like not scary, but something that would give us a little bit of a shiver, kind of like um, those early 90s cartoons that had somewhat like, they're cute, but also they're a bit weird. So we had three amazing, talented art directors applying for the program with a specific pitch for the film. But when we met Cindy Xiang, who is our art director, she presented this amazing pitch with a drawing of a dress that had all these eyes on it. Like the center of the flowers were eyes, and instantly, like, I knew it. This is our film. This is our film. It's quirky, it's cute, and it has this perfect storybook look and feel to it that is so attractive, so appealing, but also it has something in it that is like, oh, I really want to see and find out more about it. So that's how the looks came upon. And really, kudos to Cindy for coming up with this, creating and expanding this universe so well, that is so appealing and so fascinating.
Well, one of the things I loved about the style of the animation, and I noticed it right off, especially when there were, I'll just say, as in filmmaking, there was a camera close up. And I noticed, and I love the fact that the lines of the animation were not clean. I like that slight jagged look that you only really truly notice when there's a camera close up, so to speak. Because it kind of reminded me of like if you were cutting out paper dolls in a way, and the
Mhm.
lines aren't completely straight, because you know you get a kid that's trying to follow the lines and cutting something out, but the lines aren't really straight. But you don't really notice it until you see the close up. But it just works so well with that storybook look. And I think that with kids today, when you have a storybook look, it's easier for them to understand, comprehend, follow the story. It's bright, it's fresh, it's inviting, it's engaging, and it's friendly at the same time. And so I just loved the little details of the animation. So stellar job.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm just so impressed to notice all of that, because absolutely all of that, when it comes to animation, all of these aesthetic choices are actually a choice and a decision to be made, right? So there's a lot of work involved of that coming across all the visuals decisions. So yeah, thank you for noticing it. It's really,
You're very
really
welcome.
nice to hear it.
Again, stellar job. And Robyn, this question is for you, because what I found interesting in Pivot is that the little girl had tears in her eyes. And it wasn't because she got in trouble with tearing up the dress. Her tears came from the fact that her mother didn't understand her. And I think a lot of kids today can relate that they want to tell their mom and dad, you know, what they're really feeling inside, but they haven't been able to have the courage to cross that threshold, afraid that they're just going to get in trouble or get spanked or yelled at. Did I get that synopsis correct?
Yeah. Um, Something I think that is really integral to me and the characters that I create, and kind of how I view people in general, and especially children, is that um, the three basic needs we each have as individuals is to be seen, valued, and known. And when a child doesn't feel seen, valued, and known by their parent, that is the most hurtful thing. Like, that is what cuts really, really deep for them. And so getting in trouble is one thing, but to not feel seen, valued, and known for who we are, that's the thing that really brings on that emotional struggle for each of us.
Yeah, and I like the fact that her mother got it
Yeah.
and started showing understanding. And it's funny because once you see that moment in the film, you feel relief, you feel some peace, and you have a smile because you know now she's being heard and being accepted, uh, for not wanting to wear the dress, being accepted for who she is. And you know, when I watch the film, I'm thinking, you know, there's millions of little girls that at that time don't want to wear dresses. Some of them may grow up and wear dresses on a regular basis, and then there are those that don't. So it's up to their time of growing and maturing and gaining life experiences through from being an adolescent to a teenager on up. but it's an incredible film. Um, and since this is an award-winning film, what have been the audience's reaction so far
Oh.
to both of you?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to go to many festivals. I believe over 32 festivals at this point, all over the world. So we've had audiences in Europe, Asia, South America, and North America as well. So been very fortunate to have the film screen in a variety of audiences, and all the responses have so far have been very positive. Uh, a lot of people in the like independently of gender and age feel related to the story and connected to Ashley. In many of these festivals, I had the opportunity to have Q&As with the audience, and the most amazing questions have come up. Had this one opportunity in Bentonville, Arkansas, where this one little boy came up with a question and related so closely to Ashley, saying like, "Yeah, it's hard to find out who you are," and I was so proud of him for speaking up, and I could tell his family as well was so joyful, like, "Oh, good job, you made a question," and we had a bit of a conversation there on the session. So yeah, we've been nothing but very fortunate with how audiences have responded. But maybe Robyn has some things to add to it. Yeah.
Well, for you, Robyn, what was it like to see your story come to life through animation?
Oh my gosh, I was just so proud of our team. Um, I think something that's just been really special is how close we all are, that we've become very good friends. In the making of this film, it has felt really, really special, and therapeutic for all of us to talk about our stories and ourselves and our struggles and how we relate. And there's been a lot of tears and heart to hearts, and it's just been really magical making it and healing making the film, and then seeing the final product. It's just, I know that every single person who worked on this film poured their blood, sweat, and tears into making it. So it's been so much more than just a film. It's everything. All of the people I care about so much.
Well, Anna, for you, how many animators did it take to put this together?
We had a big crew, not only of animators, but designers, painters, layout artists. So I believe our crew was over 70 people. And we're very fortunate to say most of our crew is female based, BIPOC, and um, non, and sorry, all the terms. But yeah, we're a very varied and wide crew. We had the fortunate of being supported by local studios such as Kickstart and Atomic Cartoons. We've been sponsored by Harmony as well to help us make the film. So yeah, a lot of people involved in this.
When I talk to filmmakers of short films, I always ask them, how long did it take you to film it? And I'll hear, oh, it took us 2 days, 3 days, maybe 5 days at the most for a lot of the short films. How long did it take to create this film since it is animation?
If you
Oh,
count from when the script was locked, 10 months, I think?
yeah, I would say, yeah, 10 months to 9 months, something like in total with the program, a little bit like a year and a half. But yes, animating it itself was 4 to 5 months work plus all the posts. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's many different steps then in filmmaking live action. So yeah, it's months long project. So yeah, 9 months.
Well,
It's
for you, Robyn, did you have to sit down with the animators kind of side by side in certain areas, or did you just hand over the script and let them go for it?
I more so met with Anna and Cindy, as our art director, on a weekly basis or something. I can't remember. A lot. We met a lot and just went over things. And so Anna in animation, the director really takes it over from the writer and is translating that into the art. And so Anna and I continue to talk in the storyboard and editing phase. I was much more, I feel like, involved in that process of translating the story rather than the animating portion.
Now, may seem like a dumb question for some, but do you have, when it comes to animation, did you have to sit there and kind of go through a million color swatches till you kind of form the look uh, for this type of story? I mean, is that a crazy question?
No, it's not a crazy question. It's yeah, it's just about adapting a little bit. So we um maybe not so much color swatches, but we have to go through so many iterations of the film, from like simple black and white lines into the color versions of the film. Yes, there's many steps. So we do go through color script phase where we choose the rhythm of the colors, how the colors are going to change from the film. So if maybe something that by the next time you watch it, something you can notice is that the film is very much pink, right? Because her world starts very pink, but we knew we wanted the pink to feel at first a cold version because she's not so much adjusted to it, but then we transition into this warm place. So what we did in trying to find the right moods is also throughout the color to have to help us guide through that emotion, right? So we go from this very cold pink into this dark place, so very dark, still pink, but very dark pink. And then we emerge out of it into a very warm and safe space. And all of that can be guided through not only color, but shapes, music. So that's the beauty of it. We get to create and curate this world in the manner to make us go through the journey, or like the roller coaster emotion, as well as the character goes.
And that was one of the first things that I noticed in the story, and how it starts with, and we'll just say a certain shade of pink because of a room, but then there's that turn in the story where, like you said, it kind of goes dark, but it still brings in that color scheme, but in a much different shade, because now you're drawing the emotion from the viewer to experience because of that color change. So to me, animation, there's just a magic that is on a different level or a different scale than actual film. And again, from start to finish, ladies and gentlemen, this short film Pivot is an actually must-see short film. And for both of you, what in the world does it feel like now to be Oscar qualified?
Great.
Speechless too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, to be among such a plethora of talent around the world, it just feels amazing. And we hope that this increases the reach of the film. We just want more and more people to see it and to develop courage in being themselves. Do you have anything to add, Anna?
Yeah, but I'm pretty much the same. It's a bit, I'm still pinching myself every day that we talk about how far the film has gone. It's not that we didn't knew. We knew the film was special when we read the script, and we knew this was going to go far, but to see it actually become that is kind of like, wow, I've only seen this in my dreams, and now this is becoming true. It's really mind blowing, and honestly, it still gives me goosebumps to realize how much the film is creating an impact out there. And really nothing but gratitude to everyone watching that comes back to us and speak about it. We're so grateful. Please continue to do so. And also to our crew who poured so much hard work into it and some of their own experiences. Like you mentioned, the teared up scene. Yeah, the animator that made it, it's such a fantastic artist. She really put a lot of hard work into it, and I can, every time I watch that scene, like I see her, the way she did it. So it's really wholesome feeling to be part of this.
And what I loved about Pivot is that it is very, it reaches a very broad audience. It's not a niche film at all. When you see it, everybody can relate to Pivot. Robyn, are we going to see any children's storybooks coming from this concept?
So we've been talking about maybe doing a graphic novel just because the subject matter is a bit above the storybook age, but creating an expanded story around this in a graphic novel form is something that we're definitely considering and looking to do.
Are we ever going to see something like Pivot, let's say Saturday morning cartoon kind of thing?
I mean, we haven't talked about that because it is a very self-contained story, and I really did write it to be a short film, which I think a lot of people do write short films and things like that as proof of concepts. But my intention was very much like, this is a short film, like this is self-contained. You will get a whole story, 3 acts right there. But if there's somebody out there who's interested in making it into a series, we definitely are open to that. We have a very talented team of people behind it. I'm sure
Well,
I'd love
is
to have it.
Pivot available to the general public to see anywhere at this time?
It is not. We're still in
Not yet.
festivals.
Ah, so I've had the
Yeah,
special honor to actually see this before
yeah,
everybody else outside the
Exactly.
festival runs. But ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this, when Pivot is available for the whole world to see, it is a must see animated short film. You will love it from beginning to end. You will relate to it. Doesn't matter if you're a man, woman, boy or girl, you will see something that you relate to. We all do. And for Robyn and for Anna, what is next for both of you?
Oh, yeah. Well, we are still harvesting the hard work from Pivot, so we still get to do a few more festivals run. It's incredible how much the film keeps on going. So we're pretty fortunate with that. We have a few festivals coming up till the end of the year. And since Pivot, I've been very fortunate to be hired as a director. So I was able to do the jump into a directing position in a local studio called Kickstart Entertainment. And so I've been directing small projects, and it's been really fun. And honestly, all I hope is to continue to learn and grow in this in this role, and yeah, to do more projects. More projects.
And for you, Robyn?
yeah. I'm writing on Lego Friends, as you said. I continue to do that, which is really exciting, and they're amazing, and I love working for them. It's an amazing project. Also, Cindy and I, the art director on Pivot, have been working on our own project now for a while, and um, we're continuing to move forward with that. And I think Cindy and I have a very long working relationship that will extend forever. So
Well, I know one thing for both of you, your resumes are literally through the roof. Will continue to grow, and ladies and gentlemen, you have to keep your eye out. If you are into filmmaking, if you're into animation, you need to keep an eye out for Robyn Campbell and Anna Gusson. And when Pivot becomes available to the general public. Again, it's a must see. And, you know, Robyn and Anna, I always tell people that I really hope that one day that with all of these major theater chains out there, that they kind of cut down on some of the movie trailers and kind of insert some of these short films for people to see before the feature film, so more people can understand that short films are vitally important to the film world. It's important to writers and directors and producers, but it's just more creativity and more entertainment for all of us to enjoy and absorb. And hopefully we will see a lot of that start happening pretty soon.
Oh, that would be fantastic, right? I love short films myself. It's such a fantastic creative world, like, and especially because they're short, right? We have to get into this world and out of it in such a short period of time that the creative solutions that filmmakers find, honestly, it's like they never cease to amaze me. It's so fantastic.
It is. And I want to thank both of you for coming on to the program today and sharing with us. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the Oscar qualified animated short film Pivot. Again, it's a must see. And for those of you who want to, you will be able to see this interview on our television program. But also for those of you who like to view things online, we will have it in both of our YouTube channels, and also check out our brand new YouTube channel, Bond on Cinema, where you can watch all of the interviews of film directors, screenwriters, and producers, as well as animators, and of course of the numerous short films that have come out this year, and even more next year. So get on the bandwagon and start watching the short films, because if you're not watching short films, you are missing so much great creation out there that you got to add it to your film library. I can tell you that right now. And again, many thanks to Robyn Campbell and Anna Gusson for coming onto the program and sharing with us again the Oscar qualified animated short film Pivot. And as for me, I'll see you next time.